Extramarital affairs are not uncommon in the office, maybe because people who are always together and working together tend to get closer and sometimes end up having special feelings for each other. It may start as a friendship or great chemistry at work and end up in romance or an extramarital affair. There are reports that most extramarital affairs happen at work, so how to avoid office affairs? The following tips can be very helpful to save yourself from committing infidelity and to avoid putting your marriage in great pain. Set limits or boundaries. Always remember that you are already married and so you are off limits. It is important to set boundaries, especially to coworkers of the opposite sex. There are things that you cannot do anymore because you are no longer single. Although it is inevitable to work with coworkers of the opposite sex, you should remind yourself to never get emotionally close with coworkers of the opposite sex. Make it known to your coworkers that everything should be about work only and nothing personal. Emotional intimacy is also a form of cheating, and it could lead to physical intimacy and eventually to a full-blown extramarital affair. You can avoid office affairs if you will set boundaries right from the start. Do not expose yourself to temptations. You are just a human being, and if surrounded with temptations, you might give in. The best way to protect yourself from falling into temptations is to avoid temptations in the first place. Avoid friends or coworkers who are committing infidelity or those who think that it is normal to have an affair as long as they are not caught. If you are surrounded with such friends, you might eventually do what they are doing, that is, cheating a spouse. Surround yourself with friends who value marriage. It is even better to have a circle of friends who are married couples and introduce them to your spouse. Avoid going out or traveling alone with a coworker of the opposite sex, especially those who are very attractive. Avoid flirting with coworkers of the opposite sex, even if it's just in jest. You can avoid office affairs by not giving temptations a chance to get into you. Strengthen your marriage. No temptation can threat or ruin a strong marriage. Create a solid and strong relationship with your spouse that nothing can come between you and your spouse. Be each other's best friend and confide only to your spouse. Be honest and open to your spouse. Maybe there are things that you want to keep to yourself, but if you decided to share them, it should be shared with your spouse because your spouse is your better half. If your spouse is also your best friend, you can avoid having intimate friendship at work, which could lead to an affair. Continue dating your spouse to create new experiences and memories. Married couples should find time to date or spend time alone with each other to strengthen their bond. With a strong marriage, you can avoid office affairs. Respect the sacredness of your marriage. Married couples should put high value to their marriage and recognize its sacredness. If you respect and value your marriage, infidelity has no place in your marriage. Recognizing that marriage is a sacred union blessed by divine power, you will not do things to disrespect your marriage or even think to engage in extramarital affair. Infidelity could ruin your marriage, and if you value your marriage, you will avoid office affairs. An affair is the most devastating experience a marriage could go through. Is your marriage shattered by an affair? An affair should not end up in divorce. Find out how your marriage could survive an affair.